Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, take number 2. I was just recording and then I literally lost the track completely, so let's start again. Today guys, I have the main topics of this video will be Donald Trump, the person who he has chosen to be his vice president, J.D. Vance, a little bit about Zelensky, what he said, what is his take on Trump becoming president again. But we're gonna start with a very quick info about Elon Musk, who says that he will pledge $45 million a month to pro-Trump super PAC. So monthly $45 million. So there you have this. All the links to the articles I'm reading you will be attached down below in the description box. Yesterday many people were asking where's the link, where's the link. The link is always when you scroll down, you have to use your finger, click on more, scroll down, and then you have the links. Sometimes I cannot do it right away because I am in Russia and I cannot attach certain links like Rumble, for example. Yesterday, you will not believe I could not attach Rumble. So I had to do it on my phone using a different internet provider. And also sometimes YouTube deliberately deletes all the links, all the information that I put underneath my videos, including my Instagram, my PayPal, locals, my book with Scott Ritter, so I have to repost it again. This is important information, so if you don't see it right away, don't freak out. Just come back, be patient. I'm not by the computer 24/7, so that's how it is. First article is about the nomination for the vice president. Well, he's not officially vice president yet, but if Trump becomes the president, J.D. Vance will be his vice president. So yesterday, as you know, in state of Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, was the Republican convention. I haven't watched this entire convention. However, I watched this part when Trump appeared and when he was greeted by the audience. And when he was shaking hands, the first hand he actually shook in the row where he was sitting was of Tucker Carlson. So there was a lot of people who were, supporting him. It's good to watch this, and it's good to see, not just what they say, but also to look at their body language. And a lot of those people are sincere, but then you can actually feel how many of them are just faking it and pretending. But that's not new. That's why we have to use different senses than just the sight and hearing. We have to use the inner sense. Trump names senator in favor of Ukrainian territorial concessions as his running mate. This is the title of the article. I decided to read this to you because of this title. Republican Party nominee Donald Trump announced on July 15th, yesterday, that he had selected J.D. Vance, a U.S. senator from Ohio, as his vice president in case of victory. The Republican Party formally nominated former President Trump as its candidate for the 2024 U.S. presidential election. This is from Trump now, quoting him, after lengthy deliberation and thought, and considering the tremendous talents of many others, I have decided that the person best suited to get the position of the Vice President of the United States is Senator J.D. Vance of the great state of Ohio. That's what Trump said. And Ohio has voted for Trump in 2016 and also in 2020. Vance is 39-year-old. He was first elected to the Senate in 2022 with no prior political experience. At first, he was critical of Trump, but then he became a staunch supporter of the former president when seeking to win the race for the Senate. So pretty much when he needed endorsement, right? That's how I'm reading this, not being an expert. He has opposed providing aid to Ukraine. So that actually is a good news. But then we will go into what else he thinks about Israel, Hamas, and China and Asia. But let's go with the Ukraine story. Any peace settlement, this is from Vance, is going to require some significant territorial concessions from Ukraine. And you're gonna have a peace deal because that's the only way out of the conflict. He said it in February. He also made a number of statements suggesting that he is in favor of halting the US support for Ukraine. Quoting him again, I got to be honest with you, I don't really care what happens to Ukraine one way or another. This is what he said during an interview with Steve Bannon in 2022. Sorry guys, I'm walking and flipping the pages. So. Vance also told Politico in 2024 that Ukrainians are admirable people fighting Russia, but saw a lack of strategic clarity, claiming that there is no manufacturing capacity to support a ground war in Eastern Europe. Now, those are the questions that he was asking. How long is this expected to go on? How much is it expected to cost? And importantly, how are we actually supposed to produce the weapons necessary to support the Ukrainians? So those are actually good questions, I think, right? On the campaign trail, Trump has repeatedly said that he could end Russia's war within 24 hours if elected president, without specifying the steps for reaching a peace deal between Kiev and Moscow. This is the end of this article. Now a little bit about Zelensky, who we know always tells the truth. Doesn't he? Zelensky responds to prospect of another Trump presidency. Kiev, Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Monday said he was not concerned by the prospect of another Donald Trump presidency, despite its implications for Ukraine's war effort. He has an engine in his car, you could hear it. A Trump victory in November would put into question Washington's continued support for Ukraine as the country struggles through a third year of fighting against Russian forces. Now from Zelensky. I think that if Donald Trump becomes president, we will work together. I'm not worried about this. He said this during a press conference in Kiev. Let's see, there is more he said? Yes. He also said that during his recent trip to the US for a NATO summit, Republican governors had assured him of the party's backing. More from Zelensky. There are hawks whose messages are more right-wing or more radical. But I want to tell you that the majority of the Republican Party supports Ukraine and the people of Ukraine, he added. On Sunday, Zelensky expressed his shock at the attempted assassination of Trump during a campaign rally and wished him a speedy recovery. And now, let's read this, where J.D. Vance stands on Ukraine, Israel and China. So here are some important key points. So J.D. Vance, who will be the vice president, this is from The Hill. Senator J.D. Vance from state of Ohio, former President Trump's newly announced running mate, has worked to establish himself as a key surrogate on the world stage, promoting Trump's American First global policy in recent years. Trump's announcement on Monday, picking Vance as his vice presidential candidate, adds new importance to his foreign policy speeches, interviews, and meeting on Capitol Hill with foreign officials and advocates who have worked to influence the senator on US support for Ukraine. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy met with Vance in May in his position as shadow foreign minister in the opposition. That's what is in the article, guys. So those in UK, you can correct this if it needs correction. Lammy referred to Vance as his friend and agreed with the Ohio senator that we in Europe have a problem that we need to fix with higher defense expenditure. Vance has raised doubts that the US can maintain military support to Ukraine, saying that the US does not build enough munitions to sustain the level of assistance funneled to Kiev. And he's called for engaging with Russian President Vladimir Putin to deliver for American interests. Here are some statements he made about Putin from J.D. Vance. I have never once argued that Putin is a kind and friendly person. I've argued that he is a person with distinct interests, and the United States has to respond to that person with distinct interests. That's what he said at the Munich Security Conference. More from him, from Vance. But the fact that he is a bad guy does not mean we can't engage in basic diplomacy and prioritizing America's interests. There is a lot of bad guys all over the world, and I am much more interested in some of the problems in East Asia right now than I am in Europe. So then, there you have this. On the Middle East, Vance has echoed Trump's call for Israel to finish the job against Hamas in the Gaza Strip, saying that the ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia can only be established once Hamas is defeated in the Gaza Strip. Saudi Arabia has said it can't establish ties with Israel until it sees a viable pathway to the establishment of a Palestinian state. Quoting Vance, "Our goal in the Middle East should be to allow the Israelis to get to some good place with the Saudi Arabians and other Gulf states. There is no way that we can do that unless the Israelis finish the job with Hamas." He said this during the interview on CNN in May, State of the Union. More from Vance: if they can't even do that, the attitude in the Middle East will be like this. You can't trust these guys, they are not pursuing their own national security, so we've got to let them finish this job. And I think hopefully on the other end of it, get to a new era in the Middle East. In a speech that he delivered at the Quincy Institute in May, Vance addressed the contradiction between his conditional support for Ukraine, and he said, "I think we should stop supporting the Ukrainian conflict." But then he said he has unconditional support for Israel. Quoting him again, "A majority of citizens of this country think that their savior, and I count myself a Christian, was born, died and is resurrected in that narrow little strip of territory of the Mediterranean. The idea that there is ever going to be an American foreign policy that doesn't care a lot about that slice of the world is, difficult word for me to pronounce, preposterous. We want the Israelis and the Samis to police their own region of the world. We want the Europeans to police their own region of the world, and we want to be able to focus more on East Asia." So this is what he said. This is his approach to the foreign affairs that US will be probably taking. We will see how this goes. I have one comment for you from yesterday, and we will end this video with this comment from Aruna. "I absolutely feel how important it is to stay present and watch without coming too soon to a conclusion or believe what is told in the news or even in alternative channels. These days, nothing is sure to be real, so I go inside and listen, feeling the connection to source. Yes, this is definitely a spiritual war against humanity, but we are able to look through the veil of deceit." Thank you, Anya. Thank you so much for your comment. Discernment, and using your intuition and your inner sense. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, the links are all down below in the description box. To those of you who haven't purchased my book with Scott Ritter yet, but are interested in buying it, you can go on Amazon, and you have also the direct link to Clarity Press. And if you do it, thank you so much. It supports my work and Scott's work as well. Covering Ukraine, the Scott Ritter interviews through the eyes of Anya Kay. And what else? You have my Instagram also. Please follow me, you will see more of Russia. You have my PayPal, you have my locals. That is great support for my work as well. Thank you to all the supporters on locals. You really, really mean a lot to me. I want you to know this. And I think that's about it. One more comment about Instagram. Someone commented yesterday that they are confused if I am political commentator or if I'm just like modeling there. I am also a woman, and I like fashion and I like beautiful things. And my Instagram is showing this side of me that is a big, huge passion of mine, and that is travel, beauty, fashion. So if you're interested in seeing the world through my eyes, not just through the political standpoints, but through other aspects of life, then my Instagram page will be definitely for you. I'm sure I inspire many of you, show you different places that you put on your bucket list and you definitely want to visit in the future. I got a lot of DMs from you and comments from you. So that's why I do it, because I love doing this. It's like my album of my trips and travels and life. Thank you for watching. Please hit this like, subscribe if you haven't already, check your subscription, turn on the notification bell, leave the comments, I read them all, and lots of love. Remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. See you tomorrow. Bye everyone.